Viewer discretion is advised.
Happy Monday. You are listening and or watching PWNCAST. This is episode 162. We are, for a very short time, in patch 7.2. Tonight we are going to be talking about all the random news in World of Warcraft land. PvP season is ending. Some patch predictions as per the usual, because that's kind of what we do. Legendary changes coming in the new patch that are interesting. And we have that and much, much more, so make sure you guys stay right here.
You have crossed into the world of the dead in search of answers.
Amongst the Azeroth elite, there is a group that defies convention. A group that stands in the face of trolls and doesn't flinch. A group that strives on unity, trust, and unwavering resolve. A group that eats tacos. For the players, by the players, we bring you. She can start a revolt with a Chaos Bolt, Bell, the PWNCAST Vanguard. Snap back and get faster for the pet battle Grandmaster, Gemma Banks. He's sharp as a dagger with that dapper swagger, Secret Sauce. With holy might as strong as his ancient knowledge, Remedies, the Argent Loremaster. We bow to no one. We are Legion. We are PWNCAST.
Welcome back, guys. I'm going to go ahead and unmute these guys right away just because I feel like I should. As you guys have probably noticed, those watching...
I'm free!
You're free. Those of you that are watching, we are down Secret Sauce again this week. This week I actually know where he is, as opposed to last week where I didn't know where he was. Throwing some shade in Secret Sauce's direction, because that's what I do, guys. I throw shade. This week he has no internet because...
Wrecked.
People disconnected his internet. He's working on getting that back. Hopefully he'll be back next week. I'm laughing only because, like, if I ever lost internet, I would probably have 20 shades of meltdown. And I don't know about you guys, but I firmly believe that you can tell how a person is by what happens when their internet goes down. So if you want to know if they're slightly unhinged, just disconnect their internet and see what their reaction is, because that will tell you.
Or
I freak out for a little bit, and then I just read something or watch TV.
I'll sit there for a while. I'm like, I'm going to microwave leftover. I can't use my microwave.
Oh, wait,
I'm
JK,
gonna...
we got rid of the cable, and we only use the Amazon Fire Stick, so yeah, I'd be fine.
But just like internet, though. Not even electricity, just internet.
I realized when I said that we were talking
And you said microwave,
internet,
I'm like,
yeah.
Is your microwave off Wi-Fi?
I mean, you have to Google how to use it sometimes, so...
Is your refrigerator running?
You better go catch it.
Guys, it's Monday, and it's been a holiday for those of us in America. It's Memorial Day, thus the casual attire you notice in the very old Brett Favre jersey. But I did bring the other Riders of Rohan with me. I did bring the monk who... I can't say that you're a hustler because I don't really know that you are.
I knew you were going to say
Hustling.
that. I thought, because she's always said, like, you can't, it's not called hustling in game, but I started hustling the auction house again, selling companion pets, and I collected my gold for the week, and it was just shy of 100k gold, and that's mostly because of one pet sold for 70k. But yeah, I'm a hustler. I'm a hustler.
Hustling is
homie.
To me is like you got to put in work. Putting stuff in the auction house doesn't feel like hustling to me. If you were like in trade chat,
yeah,
like shouting your pet deals, then you know that
right.
kind of thing. Then that to me is like you're putting in work.
Well,
dragging and dropping into your sell tab on your auction house is not necessarily work. Right?
Well, I could sell raid to a bug. I'm a hustler. I could sell salt to a slug. Okay, I'm a hustler.
Does anybody else feel like he may or may not be related to B-Rad on Malibu's Most Wanted? Because I feel like you guys are kin. I don't know if that's...
Or J-Rock for all my Trailer Park Boy fans.
Yeah, I don't know who that is.
It's Canadian. That's okay.
Oh, okay. Like Canadian? Like a Canadian show or people?
Yeah, it's like a series, and it's on Netflix now. And some Americans know. Lycan used to watch it, but very few people, are familiar with the Trailer Park Boys.
I also did bring the Paladin, who has persuaded the devil to play something other than her Warlock. Rem, I don't know what you're talking about.
Long story short, Warcraft. I got her to play another game.
I did play a lot of Warcraft. I did a lot of PvP this week, but I did I have a lot of collections of random games, and I did kind of just play some of those other ones, which, it's not World of Warcraft related, but I play Terra, I play Sims, I play Resident Evil. There's a lot of other games that I play just kind of when I need to take a break from my to-do list in WoW, like when we're in between content. Right now we're waiting for the next patch, so I know.
I'm unsubscribing.
But what I do is every day I log into WoW and I play WoW first, and then, before I go to sleep, I get on another game. Like Terra, I really like the fast pace of the play style. So I like, and it just depends on what kind of mood I'm in. Like prior to the show, I did PvP and I did some random stuff in WoW, and then I made Sims characters on Sims 4. But I forget that there's part of being a gamer and being a podcaster for World of Warcraft is I get in this bubble of where I forget that there's other stuff that I like to play, and I feel like I'm cheating on WoW when I do that, but it's also a nice break, especially when we're waiting for like a content patch.
Yeah, it's the perfect time.
I'm pretty well far on 2 of my alts weapon wise. Like I've done a lot of things, so, and it does kind of help me not get burned out by just kind of stepping into something else.
That's all
Agreed.
I want. That's all my advice is, don't get burnt out.
So you're right then. So Belle says you're right in this scenario?
He wants me to play Star Wars, and I'm fine playing that.
You played that?
Why? We haven't played it yet. I barely downloaded it, but he wants me to play that.
Everyone in the comments, put comments to say do not play that game.
Why?
Just to wreck Remedy's fun.
I know. I wanted him to download Terra because we have a Riders of Rohan guild in Terra, and he was like, I'm not putting that on my computer.
What was he like? I'm not putting that.
Can't rewind because I'll never do that.
That's very accurate. Very accurate.
That was terrible.
That's almost exactly how he sounded when I said
it.
that. He was like being super snooty, and I was just like, oh, okay, I got you.
Ram
man.
being
like,
snooty?
It's not World of Warcraft. It can't be on my computer.
He was being snooty, and I don't know why he was being like, I don't know. He was acting like he's better than me. So.
Oh.
No.
And the Warlock, who didn't play? No, I'm joking. What's on the news agenda, Belly Bell?
I mean, we have a lot of stuff to talk about. Not really a lot, but some stuff is just a little bit more kind of in-depth, than others. But, I mean, hey. So, first thing on the list, Arena Skirmish event will be starting by the time most of you guys see this. And then the PvP Brawl that's up this week, which that'll be, once again, probably by the time you guys listen or watch, is going to be Torn Mill versus South Shore.
Yes.
Which I'm excited because,
I didn't get a chance to do it last time, so it's going to be fun to try it out.
Yeah,
I agree.
I was actually in the middle of my edit during that,
Yeah, so that's going to be pretty cool. And then I'm going to skip over that because Jim is actually going to cover that in his segment.
What?
So never mind. Now, earlier this morning it was announced that Season 3 is ending June 13th. Now, most of you know they talked about PvP seasons not being tied to a patch. However, I was initially... The 20th of June came to mind for a date of the release for patch 7.2.5. When I say came to mind, it means that was a thing that I knew to be factual. However, it seems that we are likely going to be getting it a week early than what I originally thought. Now, keep in mind, when I went to do my digging to find out the date that the patch was going to be released, it was a couple weeks ago.
So, long story short, Bella's admitting being wrong.
No, I never actually told anybody it was the 20th. That was just an internal date. Like, I could have totally pretended like it wasn't the 20th in my head and been like, guys, it's the 13th. I'm right about everything. But I'm letting you guys know that it was originally brought up the 20th. However, successful raid testing. They've done a lot of raid testing with Tomb of Sargeras this week. Now, because they're releasing new rewards, they're implementing new rewards, which means data's being added to the next season. So Legion PvP Season 4, because they're adding data to that typically takes, you can kind of bet your money that it's going to be attached to a data patch like that. The new season in PTR is Season 4. So with that being said, I think we can all assume that the 13th is actually going to be the patch drop date, as well as Tomb of Sargeras, and all of that stuff. So still could be the 20th if, you know, it's not attached, if the ending of the season isn't attached to the patch, but I think we're pretty safe to say that it is likely going to be the 13th. So
I'm kind of hoping it's not the 13th, just because it's not a good idea to. What they did before was they unleashed this huge patch right before a tier, and it completely screwed over a lot of raiders because of all the changes that they've done. And so what they need to do is they need to put it out, and then a week later have Tomb of Sargeras.
And that might be it. Tomb of Sargeras might come the 20th, and then the patch might be the 13th. That's highly possible, but because of PTR, the patch is Tomb of Sargeras. So, like, I would love for that to be the distinction, but that's not the way Blizzard does it. That's not the way that they did Nighthold either. And we know that they like to break everything before they fix it. That's just true to their form. So, that could very well be the case, but because the way that PTR is set up, patch 7.2.5 is Tomb of Sargeras. So, as far as content is concerned, but
Your Mr. Garce.
Oh,
that was a really good comeback. And I'm also going to tell you another reason why I believe that it is the 13th, because most of you should be on 2 quests in Broken Shore away from completing Breaching the Tomb, which would put us right at, 2 weeks for us to finish that out before the new patch hits, which would make a lot of sense.
You're at 2? I'm at 1.
Yeah, I'm at 2 because I finished the 1 this week. So I only have 2 left. I think 2 or 3, but I'm pretty sure it's 2. So, guys, don't, run to Blizzard and be like, Belle said this is the date, but you guys know the drill. I'm usually not wrong about the dates. I'm usually pretty accurate. So, with that being said, I really like saying that because I feel like it makes
You're
me
in charge.
Yeah, like it makes me sound like I'm really smart when perhaps I'm really not.
You got it.
I think it might be like covering up what you just previously said, like do. That being said, disregard what I said, and
There's big news coming next week.
So I wanted to talk about Icy Veins for a second. Now, Icy Veins has started posting more. I'm really liking their breakdowns. Now, obviously, we have PDQ. PDQ has not been active in some time. We've only been doing news. We haven't been doing guides. I'm at a crossroads with PDQ now where I'm not really sure where the direction is that I'm going with it, because it's become increasingly difficult to maintain, because it's just me. So, I'm not sure where the direction is going in that. But without all that, I've always liked Icy Veins, obviously compared to Noxic and stuff like that. But Icy Veins has a lot of really good PTR breakdowns in an easy-to-read manner. Now, you guys know one of my biggest complaints with Wowhead isn't about Wowhead. They do a great service to the community. I appreciate it. I'm not going to give them my money to not have ads. I just have ad block. I'm not going to do any of that bullshit because you can fuck off. But without all that, they data mine. They do things that not a lot of other people can do. So that puts them, the top of that market there. Yeah, they're a monopoly at sorts. Outside of MMO Champion, not a lot of people can compete with them, which is okay. But on the other side of that, sometimes their stuff's really hard to understand. And I'm not saying I'm not smart, and I'm not saying you guys aren't smart, but I'm saying, like, some of that stuff is like reading fucking how to install a stereo instructions. It's just confusing. Icy Veins, I've been watching them for about the last month, and they were very quiet for a really long time. Now all of a sudden they're super active, and they have a legendary for the new legendaries that were added. They have a great breakdown. So if you have a moment, go over to Icy Veins and check out their legendary breakdown for what's being added, because it's really nice, super easy to read. But they, in this latest build, they're adding 46 new legendaries. That's not the total. That's just for this last build. They've already done, a lot of adding and tweaking of some of the on use in the secondary stats and stuff like that. So with 46 new legendaries, with the patch of 7.2.5, the new item level is going to be 970. So everything that drops legendary wise is going to be 970. You can upgrade your existing legendaries from 940 to 970, similar to how we did with this previous patch when we did the Distilled Titan Essence. This one will be called the Stabilized Titan Essences. So you'll have a quest, that you'll pick up and be able to get whatever you need to be able to upgrade your 940 to 970, which is really nice. The only thing that scares me about this 970s, where are we going with the item level? Like, what's happening? We know that Tuma Sargeras is not the final raid, right? They've said Tuma Sargeras is not the final raid. I'm concerned at this point what is going to happen with the item level. We're increasing legendaries to 970. What happens when the next, tier comes out beyond Tuma Sargeras? Like,
Are you scared we're gonna get over 1,000 item level?
I mean, it has to happen because the legendaries are going to 970 soon.
yeah, they're going to 970, and then
So-
Tuma Sargeras is dropping an increase in item level, and then whatever raid comes after Tuma Sargeras is going to increase beyond that as well.
Well, I haven't looked up the gear level. What's the mythic dropping for Team Sikaris? Does it show yet?
I don't even look at mythic and raids. No, when we're closer next week, I'll be compiling all the 7.2 stuff, and we'll have a whole show just on things like a 7.2 survival guide, things that we need to know going into 7.2.5. And it will include the item level for the gear, what's happening with mythic keystones. It'll be pretty comprehensive for next week's episode, just so we kind of have that covered, which is pretty great. Also, there's a new rogue quest that's going to be added in 7.2 for pickpocketing, and rogues can acquire coins of air from pickpocketing mobs, and basically the currency is going to be pretty similar to the dingy iron coins that we had for Warlords of Draenor. So kind of nice. There's like 6 or 7 quests attached to that specific quest line.
It's fun for the rogues out there. Quest line.
I mean, it gives them like a little thing to do, and that's what rogues do, right? They steal your money and leave you crying in a battleground. So
No, they sit there and sap you until you get pissed off.
Until you rage. I just learned to just fear until it's on DR, until they're just, they're raging at the screen. They're like, kill this warlock because she keeps fearing me.
I definitely target them a lot more these days when I'm DPSing.
Yeah, it's a good rule of thumb because the Chaos Bolt's pretty gnarly. And I'm going to talk about that in my PvP segment. I got to tell you guys, Destro's pretty powerful, and I was really feeling super like
OP.
Like over the top OP. I even killed demon hunters. I had a great PvP experience.
You must have been yelling a lot of "die" because that's like the final say when you kill. Killing blow. You make sure you
or suck on that. Like I have a lot of nice little quips.
I definitely did the PG-13 version of it.
Also, there's a shoe shine. There's a shoe shine kit toy coming.
So cool.
Well.
But is it as cool as my selfie camera?
I don't know. So basically, it's a toy that makes the shoes sparkle. And
so
what happens is somewhere, I guess there's like a certain time that he leaves. Like, what is his name? Shuttle Gloss Gleam. He leaves the toy store and he goes drinking at the lounge, right? He's like, it's time for me to go have a drink. He leaves at 12 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, whatever that is on your realm. So he leaves and goes to the lounge to drink. And when he's gone, a chest spawns and it contains a toy. Only one person can get it. So this is going to be kind of an interesting thing.
People will be fighting over it then?
Because I imagine, people will be fighting because only one person can get it, and then the chest completely disappears. So, I mean,
it completely disappears, or does it respawn?
No,
it's gotta
disappears. It says it disappears.
What's the point?
Well, it's kind of like when you're mount farming, like when you're farming. What's that freaking Drake that?
But that respawn.
Time lost proto Jake.
That respawn.
Yeah,
that a guildie got shortly after your.
Flashback to when Frieza made me lose that mount.
Was it Frieza?
It was Frieza. He didn't get it. He just made me lose it. So the toy shop is obviously it's in Delaran. But I think that there's a lot more secret things that we don't know about. things that we have no idea about. They have that Secret Finders Discord, but I think it's pretty cool that they put stuff in game only for people to discover, right?
Very.
Well, speaking of that, Muffinous on Twitter, I can't remember which dev it is, but he's one of the guys that's always like hyping everyone up about those secrets. And like, for instance, when everyone is finding that Riddler's worm and they're finding the pages, he's like, "Oh, what about those pebbles on the ground right there?" Like, he just like eggs
Such a
people on.
troll type of, yeah.
Yeah, and so he forever ago he mentioned something that was in the water that no one has found yet, and he hasn't said anything about it. So there's still a secret somewhere out there in the Isle.
Is that where Secret is? Do you think he's looking for that now?
Secret is, who even knows where Secret is, to be honest. But I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, new
honestly.
stuff. You must love toys and be a big collector if you're going to be searching for that thing.
Jeremy Fessel, by the way.
Yeah.
Oh, I know that guy.
I'm pretty sure it's Fiesel, but I could be wrong. I'm not
It's
trying to correct
Fiesel.
you, Rem, but very rarely am I right.
No, I was going to say, do that. Get your moment now.
Pretty sure
You
it's
did
Fiesel.
right. Yeah, you
It's
did good.
Fiesel, but
It's Fiesel.
yeah, okay.
You can fight him at the Dark Moon Fair.
Fiesel. That's just the most retarded thing I've ever heard in my natural life.
Whoa.
Sorry.
Okay, Bella.
Sorry.
Sorry, eh?
So we have a topic of discussion, but I'm going to save it for, I guess we could do it now. So
You sure?
yeah, I have stuff that I'm talking about for my PvP segment, but this week I was on, I have that podcast where I'm on once a month with Ro. He has the rotating co-hosts. It's the Rolling Restart. Follow on Twitter if you haven't. It's at Rolling Restart. But the topic that we kind of discussed heavily was alternatives in PvP, alternative events, alternative things that we could bring to PvP. And I thought, well, I wanted to kind of talk about this to, our listeners, because I think that it was a really good, fruitful topic when we were thinking about it. And some of this stuff I had thought about all along, and just, I don't know why I never talked about it. But we have instance PvP, we have world PvP, we have duels. What are they doing for the PvP community to keep people involved in PvP and bring new people in? So for PvE, they do lots of stuff, right? Tons of world quests. The PvP world quests, I went on a rant about this on Rolling Restart. Those aren't really PvP world quests. When you're
They're not?
No, they're not, because you're killing NPCs. Those world quests
Correct.
should be you have to kill players. It shouldn't be you kill NPCs and you're done. That's stupid. Although it's great, it gives us honor. I think it's awesome. It's just, unless you're on a full-on PvP server where that's, everybody's driving force, on a normal server like ours, that's just not, we see Horde go right past us because they just want to do the quest because they don't have to mess with other players.
They're helping each other on this server. That's the one thing that I noticed.
I want to fight you, right? I think the world quest, if they're PvP related, it should be true PvP, not killing NPCs that look like Horde. That just to me is really lame.
Could be ballsy and flag yourself.
Yes, but I'm telling you, well, no, you're already flagged. When you're in the PvP zone, you're flagged.
No, but you can't attack, we can't attack the Horde.
Yes, you can.
You can?
Yes. The problem is the Horde runs right past you and leaves you alone because they just want to do their quest to get out of there. They don't want to really necessarily, occasionally you might get lucky, but I mean...
Well, that's why I really like Bareback Brawl, because it was a free-for-all, kill everyone.
Just don't ever go with Jimma, because when you go with Jimma, he pretends to be your friend and then rams you off a mountain, actually.
Well, it was so fun. I couldn't resist. But we killed, I forgot, you're right, you don't have to be flagged, because we did have a good battle. But keep going, yeah, you're going to your...
We killed a lot of people, it was nice.
We did.
He
we didn't know you could hop on the different animals, and when you ram them, they fall back. So yeah, Belle was by the cliff, and I couldn't resist.
I'm watching a lot of Vikings this week. So
I'm renaming Jimmy Banks to Calf.
I've been watching a lot of Vikings, so I'm just going to use the term usurp, even though that's not really what he did. But we're just going to say he tried to usurp me. He did. He knocked me right off that mountain, and at first I didn't realize it was him, and he was just laughing. I was like, wow.
So that was the fun of the zone, and I think some of the fun that you're wanting us to maybe ask or get to.
Well, and I'll start with mine because I cheated because I've already talked about this previously. But one of the things, some of the ideas is which the community versus community was actually Rose's idea, but to go off on the community versus community, Horde versus Alliance, Realm versus Realm. My favorite, which is something I've thought about for a really long time, Guild versus Guild. What if you had the ability to have a guild war per se, right? Player versus player, and maybe you have a banner wave in, you know, wherever the city is of the expansion. You have your Horde crest or your guild crest waving for like a whole month. Like, I don't really know what, there's so many ideas, but I thought, why hasn't Blizzard done any of these things where they do community versus community? Maybe they have a weekly event where it's a Horde and Alliance all out brawl, and, you know, whoever wins their, you know, the Alliance banner waves in the main city of the Horde or whatever. But I really liked the idea of community versus community, although you could have some semblance of that on PvP servers, but this would be obviously servers that don't, you know, people where PvP isn't their life. But
how do you organize
idea.
that? Is that for now World PvP?
I think it would be through Blizzard's interface. They would make this a thing where, and I had hoped that when we did the testing with Nomi, because they did PvP, I had hoped that they were testing some sort of World PvP event that, you know, maybe in their brain they've already kind of thought about this. I know Guild versus Guild, this is not the first time this was brought up. I am not the person that thought of this, because even when I thought of it, I went to look on the forums to see if somebody had recommended this and on Blizzard, and several threads have talked about this. But what would you guys like to see for alternative things in PvP to maybe entice new players who've never PvP before, or breaking up the monotony of just doing rated or instance PvP, where it kind of sucks sometimes, guys. Sometimes if you're on the losing streak of a really bad night, depending on your faction, it doesn't get any better. But Jimma, do you have any ideas?
Yeah, I jotted some down real quick. Like, I mean, with new people and getting them to do that PvP content, I'm not saying like this, I'm just off of that. I'm saying you reward people by giving them something. But remember also with the legendary quest and MOP, a lot of people, they were just like hated having to do Temple of Kot Mogu and the Silver Shard mines just as part of that. And that was just one win. Like, that wasn't even that bad. Like, people are so against PvP when they don't PvP. But as far as things they can do to reward or encourage people, I like the World PvP idea. It's just, how do you orchestrate that? Like, I think back to Ashran, which was such a good idea without the objectives and without all this silly stuff. Just have everyone go in and kill and fight for whether it's an area, or I didn't like the idea of all these like mini objectives and all these mini quests. I didn't like that. So I always enjoyed World PvP, and I was also thinking like, but how do you make that fun and how do you make that event? Because if you're making it a goal or for everywhere to go to one place, that could make servers crash or just have too many people in one area. I know they've fixed that since then. But if they made it just for your server, that makes it difficult too, because some servers are lopsided per population. So I think World PvP is an easy answer, and I think rewarding new players for other things. And I like the idea in the system of when you were a certain rating in Arena, you got better gear, right? Blizzard's against that now. They don't like people having, just being stronger in Battlegrounds or having the potential. If you're not going to do better gear or better higher item level, at least give them, some different shades of color or a different set of gear to get, or just something to grind out other than their PvP level. I like what they've done with the weekly events. That's new. At first, I really thought, and I've said this on previous shows, right off the bat, I go, that's dumb. You're not going to revive these old Battlegrounds and make them fun. But I was wrong, because I've had fun in each individual week. So I'll let you guys answer. Those are just some quick ideas as far as things that I think that they could do in PvP to make more fun or slightly better.
Rem?
2 words: Giribashi Arena. I don't know if y'all ever did that, but that was the most fun
What was that again?
I've ever had in PvP.
But it's still
So
there.
Giribashi Arena, it's still there. It's in Stranglethorn Vale, and so pretty much it's a free-for-all arena.
Right.
And so you pretty much just kill people until a chest spawns, and then you get that spawn, and then it gives you a nice trinket.
Yeah.
They could do something like that where I'm surprised they didn't do it because there's always been an arena in every expansion. There was oh my god, and Bruce Burning Crusade, Jesus
Right.
Christ, Burning Crusade. That
You
was
okay?
yeah. Oh god, I forget what it was called. It was like the arena out in Nagrand with the ogres.
Right.
Ice Crown had
The Grand Arena.
no.
I was gonna say that. I think that's what
I
it's
feel like it
called.
was called the Grand
No,
Arena.
there's-
I mean,
I
I know
wanna
that's
know.
an
It might
arena
not
in
be,
game,
but-
but I feel like it was also, I don't know.
But keep going. You're talking about the individual. I wanted to say No Grand Arena as well.
But there was the Arena of Anguish or something other.
They even
in
had the Dark Moon
Cataclysm.
Fair one, right?
Yeah, that one's actually really fun too.
Right. They're still
I've done
doing
it
that.
recently.
Okay.
It's always on there.
Okay.
But that would also be an idea of promoting PvP out in the world would be having probably a bigger area than the arena because it's quite small, and you have the people that can run out and deflag themselves and they just laugh at you and then run out until you're about to die. Then they kill you. But have like a spot in Draenor where all the PvPers, regardless if it's PvE,
Draenor?
roleplay, whatever. Broken Isles, I mean, sorry.
Wrong
Either
expansion.
way.
I don't get to correct you very often, so when I do, I have to seize the opportunity.
Yeah, but have like a spot where all the PvPers, regardless of what realm it is, where they can hang out and just kill people pretty much. Instead of jumping around in Stormwind or whatever city you're hanging out and waiting for your queue to pop.
I have something else that I thought of. I know you were going to say something.
But I have
No, I
other-
wasn't. I was thinking.
Oh,
Go ahead, you're good.
you good, Rem? Sorry, I didn't mean to like interrupt.
Well, I had more, but if you want
Yeah,
to talk.
go. No. You go. This could wait.
Also, Wintergrasp and
I had a blast in
Tolbarad.
there.
That was Wintergrasp was my favorite PvP experience. It was it was their community versus community. It was some of the
Correct.
largest battles when it was current, and people still go back there for achievements and stuff. But if they could implement that was what Astron was supposed to be a
Mhm.
bigger version of that, but they fucked that up. Anyways,
Holinka still has trouble letting go because you could still queue for Ashran, and it's very
Yeah.
clear that he is very adamant about, I know I failed and this screwed up, and he's just let it die, let it go, literally, just Elsa that shit.
well, with the few that they have going with Sylvanas and Greymane, I'm surprised they didn't do another. It's considered an instance because you queue into it, but a giant battleground pretty much. I'm surprised they didn't do one.
Well, like you said, those are some of the funner moments that we remember World PvP. I think they just screwed up so bad on Ashran, they might have just been like, okay, that's not a good idea, and threw it out the window.
The idea was solid, the execution was not. The idea that they had was a solid idea. They relied on beta to test and give them feedback, and I feel like it was great in beta because people made it great, and then when it just came down to it,
Well, you saw your favorite PvPers too. They were NPCs, and like that whole concept was just amazing. But of course, yeah, it's failed. But they could have just easily done something like Rem said, a Wintergrass or a Tolbarad. Rem, what were you saying? You had more things? Yeah.
No.
You know where Blizzard really screwed up? Here's the thing. It almost makes me want to say Blizzard doesn't care about PvP. How do you have an arena tournament recently that's not advertised? If Bell didn't share it, I wouldn't have known it was there.
That's actually really valid.
How
Yeah.
how is there nothing in the interface? How is there no hype around it? That
They
just
didn't-
leads me to believe.
You're right. GCD TV, which we're going to talk about that this weekend, they had their NA May Clash tournament. And
Right.
he's 100% right. Blizzard did not promote this whatsoever. The only reason I knew is because, one, I follow Method, and two,
Right.
I follow GCD TV for this reason, because if you guys flash back to 6 months ago, I talked about GCD TV picking up a lot of these arena tournaments to make it a thing. But Gemma, you hit the nail on the head, which was very articulate of you. I'm not calling you dumb. I'm just saying I like that you picked that up. But yes, they went on the record a month ago, 2 months ago, whenever they had that big esports announcement and said, we want to make this a thing for World of Warcraft. Yet there was
Where's
no
your marketing
promotion.
team, bro? Yeah.
There was nothing. There was no PR. There was not jack shit that said, hey, go watch these guys over at GCD TV.
Same thing. I only
100%
know
agree.
because I follow some of the players that go on Twitter. That's the only reason why I knew some of the days. Yeah.
If I didn't watch the show, I would have had no idea.
Well, and I stalk all of them.
Yeah, you do.
So it's that point where it's just really embarrassing.
Your fans,
But you are 100% correct, and that is a struggle because it's like you're saying you want PvP to be a thing, you want esports to be a thing. That's what you're saying, but your actions are showing the exact opposite.
Right.
Because, and I would have to just go double check, but I'm pretty sure I didn't see. You might have seen World
Nothing
of
on the
Warcraft.
page. No.
You might have seen them retweet, perhaps, but nothing on this May Clash.
Right.
I don't know if guys.
Okay, so speaking of that, I'm gonna join in on Jim's rant right there. So there's nothing saying anything about anything for the arenas on the World of Warcraft page.
Right.
On Twitter, yeah, they might retweet something. But like for instance, whenever there's anything Overwatch going on,
Right.
it's on my launcher, it's on the page,
Mhm.
it's in my face everywhere. But when it comes to the Warcraft arena, when they're trying to say they want to bring life into it again, they're
Failing.
I mean, they're doing good at their actual arenas that they're doing, but
Right.
there's
the shell
there's
casting
no
is
publication.
entertaining.
Yeah,
Right.
no publicizing it at all.
Agreed.
I agree with that, and that is particularly frustrating
Because, for instance, Gemma Banks isn't really, he's not really a newcomer to PvP, but in terms of compared to compared to Belle, you have her she's in tune with everything. She knows where to
Right.
check and who to talk to get the information for the arenas. But if someone wants to get into it, they
Yeah.
can't
it's
really.
it's not easily found, right?
Like-
Attainable, yeah.
When I was watching the show last week, like I heard her say that, but if she didn't share it, I wouldn't have clicked it again. Like they should have just had a link or some sort of tweet and
in the
you guys-
launcher, something. I agree
Yeah.
with you completely, and I don't know.
Right now, new plush and in-game pet is sitting on there, but nothing about.
And you're not going to buy it, everyone listening, because it's going on sale in 6 months, so don't buy it. But Bell, like the homie Friza, what was one of his favorite things for PvP was World PvP. And I don't know how to make that a thing with so many people without having too many people in one area so the servers crash, but something geared around that, even if it's as simple of just another Tolbrad or Wintergrass, but something like that I'm sure they're creating for next expansion. I can see them not doing that, but that would be
I would hope
I can-
so, because it does feel like they only give people enough to keep them interested, and then they don't really go as far. And I say that because we don't know. It's unknown. I don't know what they're developing. I don't.
Right.
There's certain things that I don't talk about with the people that I know at Blizzard, and that's kind of a subject that's one of them, because I like to be surprised like the rest of you when it comes to things I'm really passionate about. So as possible, because I like learning that stuff right along with you guys. So they're like the PvE stuff, a lot of that stuff I don't care about, so I could get spoilers on that, but I try to stay away from that. So I don't really know, what their thought process is. What are they developing? I don't tweet to them like I see other people. I don't get on the forums because I feel like your shit gets lost in translation on the forums. You're just opening yourself up to a bunch of assholes telling you.
And it gets flooded.
Yeah, it just doesn't feel. That's just not something Belle does. Belle just rants about it on the show, and hopefully somebody at Blizzard gets wind of it and says, hey, maybe they've got a good idea. But I agree, and it's funny that Gemma had brought up that no promo thing, because I was going to tweet to Blizzard earlier about it, because I was a little irritated because a few people DM'd me and said, whoa, I didn't know there was a tournament this weekend for PvP. I know. A lot of people were not aware. The only reason I knew is because I follow GCD TV, and they're one of the other sets of people outside of WoW outside of the esports arena that does the WoW tournament. So that was one.
Now, what we can do, and I think that's just that's not my Bell voice, but it's like, Bell will say, well, what do you do when you're bored at the end of an expansion, or what can we do to make it better? So things that we can do is make PvP better by inviting your friends or doing some sort of group. I understand you might already be doing that, grouping up for BGs, and that can get repetitive. So maybe you're already doing that, but maybe getting your friends involved or trying to do specific battlegrounds or try arena or go get your winter grasp achievements. Just something with your friends to make it entertaining again while Blizzard's working on whatever they're
Let's make
working
a group for Ashering, guys.
And if you guys have ideas, definitely take it to the forums. If there's multiple people with the same type of idea on the forums, I think that's when Blizzard kind of pays attention. So, just because Bell doesn't do it, it's just because my voice was not built for forums, right? That's just not where my area of expertise is. I do forums only for testing when I'm beta or PTRing because I like to make the game better. But other than that, forums is not where Bell's voice belongs. Last time I was on the forums, I got banned.
I don't doubt that one bit.
funny
I got a 24-hour ban because it was some shit with warlocks and it was in Draenor and I hit them with statistics.
Early expansion in Draenor?
Yeah.
Like when you were at your most frustrated? Yeah, okay, continue.
I hit them with some statistics because their response to one of the warlocks on there that was, saying things that were very honest. They had said, blah, blah, blah. They came out with all these numbers. So I hit them with a lot of statistics and it was valid information. And then I found myself blocked for 24 hours. And I thought to myself, outside of saying the word horseshit, I didn't really say anything that was inappropriate. I hit them with, it was like 7 paragraphs and it was well formatted. I took a lot of time to write it. They just banned and deleted. And I was like, wow.
How many run-on sentences did you have?
I'm sure there was probably tons of sentences. But I want to know what your guys' thoughts are. So those of you at home, send me an email.
I was going to tell them to write in the comments in case it's a good idea, and then we can steal it and say it's our idea.
If you're an iTunes listener, send an email. If you're watching on YouTube, comments. Tell us what could they add alternatively to PvP outside of just instances, outside of things we've already had. Like what fresh new things do you think that they could do to improve the PvP community with alternative stuff? Would you guys like to see guild versus guild, realm versus realm? Like what would you, if you were in charge of PvP, what would you institute? We want to hear from you guys. I want to know what love is. So with all that, it was a great discussion, guys. I'm very, very happy about that discussion.
But was it worth it?
Well, let me work it.
Put my game down and reverse it.
Oh, on point. Jimma?
Mm-hmm.
What hails from the pet battle world?
Nice. Well, that important information that you skipped and what was live on, what was it, the 23rd? Yeah, you guys were probably just relaxing playing Warcraft on your Tuesday, listening to PWNCAST, and you could go get the Squirky pet. It's like a little Murloc-looking pet, and it's in the...
It's yellow.
It's yellow. It's got big, beady eyes. Actually, it doesn't. I was gonna say creepy eyes, but it's got a good reptile eye.
Hey,
I was looking at the plushie here, which I'll talk about as well. But Squirky is like a Murloc-looking pet, and you just head to Azuna, and there's an area over there, and you just you can catch them in the wild. From what I understand, I know it sounds sad. I did not go get mine. Belle went and got hers right away. I was like,
Seabreak Island. It's off the west coast of Azuna. There's the top, if you're on the left side, there's a little tiny island. Fly right to it, drop down. It's like a really, really small island. There's a shipwreck there, and it's called Seabreak Island. It's really super small.
And you said you caught it in the wild, right?
Yeah, there's just a bunch of them. If you have your icons on your mini map, you'll see the second you fly down into that map, you'll see a ton of the little pets. You have to do take caution if you're on a relatively low geared tune, because the Murlocs are elite, so the bigger Murlocs, they will kill you, but easy.
Right, especially because we've been putting artifact power into our DPS spec and we can kill stuff now. So if not, if you're a healer or you're a wimpy DPS, just bring some friends. Also, you
I'll
could
help you, Jim. It's okay.
I appreciate that. Thanks, bro. When catching pets in the wild, not just Squirky, other pets. Remember, we discussed in previous episodes, pets that will not kill the pet you're trying to capture. I'm sure for Squirky, there's a few of them going around, so you can get them. But if you're going for more rare pets, or you found a rare pet all of a sudden, like the blue, a rare version, you don't want to accidentally kill it. So Terrible Turnip is probably one of the cheaper ones. Actually, they've gone in price recently, gone up in price, which is nice. But Weakening Blow and the Super Bark ability on different companion pets will make sure you don't kill the companion pet you're trying to catch in the wild. So not only is there Squirky, the companion pet that you can get in game, which is more exciting to me, there's also a plushie that I mentioned earlier. It is a cute little Squirky / Murloc. I'm just like bitter from previous purchases. I just feel like everything in life will be on sale later. So if you've already got it, and if not, go get it. But last week we also talked about pets, and I was kind of rambling on about mounts. There was a reason why I was asking about mounts. One, I was giving Blizzard the okay. Not that it's always okay, but they reskin a lot, right? So I saw a picture of the companion pet that looked like the Time Lost Proto Drake whelp, right? Time Lost Proto whelp mount, and that's a companion pet. So it got me thinking, and that's why last week we were discussing maybe like different mounts and different pets that could be brought in the game. In PTR now, one of those pets is the Bronze Proto whelp, or the bronze proto whelp. I get them confused with whelps and drakes sometimes, but it's that mount that you got on the 1 level 80 instance. I remember you had to do it in so much time. What's it called?
Not Stratham.
No, I think you're right. Yeah.
No.
No. You sure it's not Stratham?
It's the Bronze Drake with you're doing it with Arthas.
Yeah. I knew it was a Drake. It's weird. So just when I'm reading it here, it says whelp. It looks like that Drake, right? That was like one of the first epic mounts that I had in the game, actually. There's the albino Drake, right? So actually, yeah, it's a Drake as a mount, and it screws me up a little bit when I'm saying it because it's a whelp as a pet. So that bronze Drake is now a bronze proto whelp, and also the Time Lost Proto Drake is a pet now as well.
So the Drakes are the mounts, the whelps are the pets. And yes, you are correct, it is Stratham.
Good, thank you. Yeah, so it gets confusing, but the one that looks like the Time Lost Pro Drake is amazing looking, just because it looks like that rare pet. Now, to get both of these, we've talked enough about what they are. It's the Deaths of Chromie scenario. I think you brought that up last week, Belle. There'll be a scenario coming up.
I didn't talk too much about it because there's huge spoilers in that quest line, so I didn't go into it, but yes, there's it's like a very lengthy quest line with Chromie.
Spoiler alert, there's pets that drop. I hope you don't write like, oh, Jim spoiled
No, spoiler alerts for story, like lore-wise.
I'm joking.
Oh, okay.
No,
Okay, I was going to say.
So yeah, those will be drops, and if they're drops where you can sell them in the auction house, you're going to make a lot of gold, or you're going to buy them low and sell them high, because if they are tradable while that scenario is on and popping and people are running it like crazy, obviously more pets drop, and overall they're going to just drop in price a little bit, and then next expansion you're going to be rich, right? So that's a little tip, or I'm hoping anyway.
I mean, I'm still banking on my left shark pool going on.
Right? Funny pet story as well. Rem lent me the Drudge Ghoul, and over the week
in my mailbox.
Yeah, he's like, so you never return that Drudge Ghoul, eh? And that's actually one of the rare pets for Raiding with Leashes 2 achievement. So that's just like a random thing that I wanted to bring up. But so those two pets, Deaths of Chromie scenario, and then there's another pet. Oh my god, it's a Sun Darter Hatchling, and it looks like the Sprite Darter Hatchling. Visually looks very good. I hope it has similar abilities. And right now in your collection, like all of these pets show up in your like pet list, but it shows up as like an oddly colored egg. But it looks like a Sprite Darter Hatchling with prettier colors. We don't know how to get it, but I'll let you know as soon as I know. So that's cool. Some more pets to be added in the new patch to drop, and much hype. Not a lot of talk on the show about it, but a little bit. The pet battle dungeons are very exciting for me, and I can't wait for those to be a thing coming up. So that's all I got. A lot of pet stuff this week, actually. Yeah.
That's what I was waiting for.
Pet stuff. You're muted, or you're making
muted, or you're trying to talk to us.
I was
in
muted.
tongue.
I was waiting for that. Yeah, because that's how you typically end your stuff. So I just want to disclaim for Rem's segment. If it sounds like Rem is reading from a book, because he fucking is reading from a book.
You always do that.
He is reading from a book.
Right.
I forget who said it. He watches the show.
That.
I love him dearly. He always comments stuff, and he's like, maybe Rem could stop sounding like he's reading from a book. And I'm like, it's funny because he actually is. And that was intended, because it is for those who do not have the book, and then he discusses So it is story time with Rem, but I
You
I
always
thought
do
it was
that.
funny because I don't think he realized it was Thomas Wong. I don't think he realized that he was actually reading from the book. I think he thought he was reading.
Yeah, he thought I was reading from like Wikipedia.
See,
Yeah.
I thought he meant something else.
No.
I read
He was
that.
like, maybe he should sound like he isn't reading, and I'm like, he legit is reading. That's literally his purpose, is to read from the book for those that do not have it, or just maybe they want to be soothed. But it's annoying when Rem doesn't do the voices, because then it's just like dry eye. Versus when Rem does the voices, because Rem does a lot of good voices, guys. You haven't even heard half of the voices Rem can do.
I haven't heard half the voices.
Oh, awkward. Rem, what do you have for us today?
Warcraft stuff. Yeah. So I'm going to talk about the first war, which was first war with the orcs. Obviously. Come on. So, should I do a little voice? Should I? It's awkward. Anyways, so this part is after the Medivh's origin, where we find out about him being. This was before we found out that he was being controlled by Sargeras, and this was right after he woke up from a coma after killing his father, Nihilus Oran, and this is right about 20 years before the Dark Portal. So this is when King Lane, Anduin Lothar, and Medivh became best buddies and going on adventures. I can't think of a voice. King Baratheon's strategy against the trolls was effective for a time, but it could not stop every attack. A troll raiding party slipped through Stormwind's patrol lines and cut a path of destruction through Westfall, the Kingsman breadbasket. 3 towns were burned to the ground. Stormwind's soldiers eventually caught and slew all of the raiders, but it was too late for dozens of humans. Their deaths had been slow, barbaric, and gruesome. The atrocity became the talk of the kingdom. King Baratheon met with Stormwind's lords and other nobles to discuss the response. Baratheon was so focused on de-escalation, he declared that the armies of Stormwind would be bolstered but used only to strengthen their patrol routes. There would be no offensive against the Girabashi. Lane challenged him publicly, demanding that the blood of Stormwind's citizens be repaid in kind. Baratheon was forced to rebuke his son in front of the royal court to end the protest. Ooh. Lane was furious, not just for the humiliation, but for what he saw as his father's cowardice. Lothar and many others felt the same way. In particular, Stormwind's soldiers were itching for revenge, but they would obey the king. It would be unthinkable for any loyal soldier to do otherwise, but Lothar suggested that if anyone would escape the hangman's noose for insubordination, it would be Lane or Lothar. Their ties to the king were too strong, and if they managed to stop the trolls for good, they would be forgiven. So, life lesson right there. It's easier to ask for forgiveness than permission. Just kidding.
Thank you for that.
I feel like you've told me that recently in a real life scenario between you and I. I'm 100% positive it'll come to me while you're doing your lore. I'll remember, and then I'll call you out appropriately later.
Lane loved the idea. A small secret mission into the heart of Girabashi lands might go unnoticed by both trolls and humans, but he also knew that mere steel would not be enough to carve out the heart of the Girabashi's aggression. That would require something more. Medivh. The majority of Stormwind's populace considered Medivh to be simply a powerful wizard, or powerful mage, sorry. But he had told Lane and Lothar the truth. He had revealed to them the secret history of the Guardian. the Council of Terrasfall and his destiny. That's a big no-no, by the way. The Council of Terrasfall is super, super secret. It makes the Illuminati look like a little... Anyways, Medivh was reluctant at first. He still hadn't found the limits of his power, and his hazy memories of what had happened to his father haunted him. After much consideration, he agreed to assist Lane and Lothar. It was not simply a matter of making his friends happy. Medivh had another motive. He had never seen battle before. He had never slain an enemy. He wanted to see his guardian magic could truly do. In truth, he hungered for it. The three friends set off in secret, forging beyond Stormwind's borders. They infiltrated Stranglethorn Vale without incident, shrouded by Medivh's magic. The humans targeted a Girabashi warlord named Joknon, who dwelled in a ziggurat in central Stranglethorn. Their plan was to kill him quickly and retreat, leaving the trolls without a leader. The plan was anything but flawless. Joknon and his followers had been experimenting with forbidden blood magic derived from one of their gods, a mighty and ancient creature known as Hakara the Soulflayer. When battle erupted, it attracted a tremendous amount of attention. The three humans soon found themselves in a battle fight for their lives. Medivh dueled Joknon himself, facing a breed of magic he had never seen. Bit off more than he could chew. Joknon's dark power nearly overwhelmed Medivh. The Guardian was forced to abandon his apprehensions and unleash his full might. The resulting spell destroyed every single troll inside the ziggurat. Their howls of agony were heard in the darkest corners of Stranglethorn. Lane and Lothar had both seen death before. Even so, they were rattled by Medivh's power. The three men hurried back to Stormwind, but there was no joy in their victory. Lane and Lothar had seen Medivh's dark side, and they realized that their old friend was different in ways they could never understand. Even Medivh himself did not fully understand what he had done. He had never been taught that spell. He had no idea where that knowledge came from, or if it had been entirely powered by arcane magic. It disturbed him greatly. So, this is a part where I'm pretty sure, at this point of the lore with Medivh, he's internally battling with Sargeras. And so that's probably how he knew spells that he didn't even know of. And partly because he's hungering for battle. He wants to drink the blood of his enemies from their skulls, pretty much. Or at least see what it's like. And that is the start of the Girabashi War. Bum, bum, bum.
Thank you for that. Rem, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
I don't have a lot of experience, but I'd like to try out for a voice for one of your lore segments. Not a big role, just like a sentence or two, but I want to let that marinate for a bit.
The original, the voice he started with was pretty legit. You could tell he forgot the voice though, because but that would be me. Like I would start off with a British accent, and I would end up like from
the best is when he said
Alabama by the time I was done.
Alabama. He said sorry in the voice too, and he said, "Wizard, sorry, mage."
Well, as you're reading, you're looking forward, but then you're thinking of just my brain sucks.
Well, it was good. I thought it was a good segment. Thank you.
But now that we have a date on Tomb of Sargeras, I wanted to ask people's theories again, because no one's really talked about it. I figured now that they see Tomb of Sargeras is right in their face, I was wondering what people's theories are on how Tomb of Sargeras will play out right afterwards. Because they haven't showed, with Archimon, they haven't showed the cinematic for the end of the fight, yeah?
All cinematics from PTR are cut out.
Okay. So, what are your theories, guys? Are we going to kill Jaden? Are we going to subdue him? Giggity?
Well, you already said we never actually kill these guys because we fight their apparitions, right? We're their projections. We don't actually fight their physical forms.
Well, kill Jaden, his physical form is here. But if he dies on Azeroth, then he will be revived in the Twisting Nether. But if there's enough, because the Tomb of Sargeras has become a focal point of Fel energy, it could potentially kill him indefinitely because it has influence from the Nether. But when I think about it, we have Anduin that's maybe becoming as powerful as Turalian as a paladin. Spoilers, because he gets a sword. And then we have maybe Khadgar, aka Dadgar, puts on his big boy pants and actually helps us. Because Khadgar, without being amazing, quote unquote, he's one of the most powerful mages, only comparable. It's like Jaina at the moment. And speaking of Jaina, where the fuck is Jaina? This just makes the Dreadlord theory even more plausible.
Jaina's off doing some weird, like, if I had to guess, I would say she's like creating an army, and she the day of reckoning is going to come for when people didn't listen to her. It's going to be the day when it was that time of the month, and she's going to be pissed the fuck off, ain't got no Snickers, don't have no Mountain Dew, no hot Cheetos, and she is just gonna, the reckoning, man. I'm telling you guys, this shit is coming.
I was actually, one of my ideas was, because she is Jaina Pradmore, she is the lineage of the leaders of Kulteris, which they have not revealed yet. And we have Dalen Pradmore back in, I think it was Cataclysm, when he was attacking Durotar. Whatchamacallit? One of my theories was that she is going back to Kulteris because her father's dead, her brother is currently ruling, and we're going to get some type of flavor of Kulteris in the next expansion. And the reason I bring this up now is because last week I saw someone post a lengthy post about their idea of what was going to happen, and they mentioned Kulteris and South Seas and how that will be a factor in with N'Zoth. And it just reinforced my theory because other people have the same brainwaves as me.
Scary.
Yeah, Kulteris, guys.
It's scary because I could barely handle one for him, let alone multiples. Just kidding. JK. Guys, don't get all freaked out and be like, oh my god, she's insulting Rem. It's going to be okay, guys. We're going to make it through it. It's going to be okay. You don't need
We've got Mike and Ike's. Not just Ike.
We're going to make it through. We're going to be okay. So you comment, email if you're an iTunes listener, theories, guys. Tomb of Sargeras theories. What do we do? What's in the box? No? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm over it, you guys. Lames. It's been super lazy mode. This whole weekend has been super lazy mode for me.
Me too.
Yeah.
You mean you like did some family stuff?
I did a lot of domestic stuff, and those of you that follow me on Snapchat seen some of my.
You made peanut butter.
I did make homemade peanut butter. This is what happens when Belle's bored. She makes homemade peanut butter. I do try to make homemade stuff that, like, I make my own ranch dressing. I like to be able to control the ingredients.
Your own ranch dressing?
Okay, so real talk, it's scaring me how domestic Belle has been.
I'm happy. I like it.
Well, what it is guys, is my children
prepping,
are growing.
yeah.
My children are growing up, and the last couple months it's like when you have a brush with death, you're aware of your mortality. The last couple months dealing with my 18-year-old has made me just painfully aware of what happens when your children grow up. So it's really just been about, like, me trying to make it better. My next one is she turns 16 in July, and
Dang.
you know, like, it's just obvious that these things I'm gonna have to keep dealing with this as a mother. So I'm trying to just make as many memories as I possibly can. And hopefully they won't hate me when they're older, because my 18-year-old hates me, which is fine. That's okay. But in hindsight, guys, hindsight's 20.
It's like flashback to when we first started like chilling and hanging out, and I'd always be like, "No, you need to do stuff like that. You need to play Lash." Wow. But
it's boring.
It is boring. RL is boring, but it's
I don't know.
Luckily,
makes
Dark
it better.
he is not into, like, the being out all the time either. So we're a really good mix. We like being out just enough to where that's okay. But,
Good.
That's just me trying to find.
When do your other ones start playing WoW though? Like, I think your 16-year-old's not into it,
No,
right?
the girls were
But
not into it.
what do you
but
think about
obviously
your boys?
The boys are very much gamers, 150%. My
So
my 7-year-old beat his first adult PlayStation game when he was 2.
Dang.
Okay, 2 years old. It was a Batman game, and it was an adult Batman. It was like Arkham City or some crap. He beat it at 2 years old. Okay.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
But I feel like you're the mom that would like make one of those boys play WoW. Like I just feel like I don't know how
he
you
has. Xavier's played. He's played on Dark's account. my only problem is I feel like there's just an age where you should not let them play something like this because it can develop into something very unhealthy very quickly. So
like addiction wise.
yeah,
I like
because
that that's in the back of
you
your
have
mind.
people like me and Murky and you on.
right.
And
So I think when he's a little bigger, I think it'll be okay. He wants his own account and all that stuff. But I'm not. Even though I
Okay,
know you can censor chat and all those kind of things, I'm
Oh,
not
yeah,
ready
it's a
for the
lot.
dangers of dealing with other people on the internet with him just yet.
No,
We
I
don't even
completely
let him do
agree.
the chats. He tries to do the chats on his tablet and chats in whatever random game he's playing, and I lose my shit, and I take his tablet away because I tell him if I catch you in those chats. Those kind of things on the internet freak me out because people are not who they say they are in the internet. So
I completely agree, and not bashing any parents, but whenever I see in the Warcraft group when they're posting about their kids playing, that's adorable, but when they're like 5 years old or something, it's like calm down.
like, and you
They'll
can
play
block
fine.
chat and stuff like that in WoW. Like, you can disable those features, except where there's a will, there's a way. And I would rather just that not be a part of my concern right now. When he's a little bit bigger, and I can control that a little bit more because he's then afraid of me. Right now, he's not really afraid of me because I tell him I'm gonna, I tell him I'm gonna backhand him, and I actually don't, in fact, backhand him because
Oh, you're so cute.
I
You
don't do
want
those things. So
chocolate?
yeah, I know you guys hear me where I go to yell at them and I'm like, "Oh, you're cute. Do you want some candy?"
That's
Pretty
Binks every
soon,
day.
pretty soon they'll be of an age where their cute is going to piss me off. So then it won't be
Yeah.
as, mommy's just rolling over. Right now they're little and I'm just enjoying them being, but don't worry, Xavier's 7 and he's got a mouth on him. So it's quickly fading the cute.
So you say, I like what you said earlier. You're talking about like you don't want them to play so many hours of a game at such an early age. So don't look so funny when I tell our listeners to go outside because
Well,
it's
he
beautiful.
also does not
weather.
like the outside. So he's very much my child.
I
He
was
is
gonna
not
say
a
the
fan of the
apple doesn't
outside.
fall
He
far.
likes to go out and play a scooter, and then after 15 minutes, he goes in.
Yeah, you
We went to the
don't know
pool
what summer's
Saturday.
like out here.
He was in the pool for 5 minutes, came back in and said, "I don't want to be in the pool anymore. I want to play my tablet." He's just very he's much like me in that regard.
Yeah.
So, but
Yeah, Jimmy Banks, you don't understand what it's like for summer out here, Arizona, California. Oh,
Yeah, right. I've been waiting for this nice
fucking
weather. For 6 months.
125 melt, balls sticking to your fucking leg hot. That is how
Yeah.
hot it is in Arizona. You boys out there, you know what I'm talking about when it's hot. Your balls are sticking to your legs. That girls have that same problem, okay? I have to put deodorant on the underboob because it's a big problem in Arizona. But it is not
Starting
the
to
business.
heat up.
When it's hot outside, it's like people do not go outside, Gemma. You don't see people on their bikes. There are those super crazy hikers, and then they come up missing 2 days later because they didn't have any water, and then they have to be rescued off the side of a mountain. That shit's real. It happens every
whenever
year.
I think of Arizona, all I can think, again, I keep on saying this, but King of the Hill, when Bobby's finds out what Arizona's like, and it's like, it's like on the face of the sun.
It's pretty bad. It's not the place to be. So let's talk about things, guys. Let's talk about PvP things.
Yeah.
I did a lot of PvP this week, but
Oh, yeah.
before we do that, I want to talk about the arena champion or the arena tournament that happened this weekend that nobody at Blizzard talked about.
You know what's so funny? I don't mean to interrupt you. When I said there was no promotions for the tournaments, that was for the one we discussed last week or 2 weeks ago. I didn't realize the tournament just happened this weekend.
There was another
Exactly.
one, yeah.
I didn't know that. Keep going. Sorry.
Oh, you weren't even talking about that? Well, you were right.
Well,
They did not promote
That's what I'm
it.
saying. Even more lack of promotion for me to.
GCD TV, which is Global Cooldown TV, they hosted the North American May Clash tournament this weekend. Now, all 3 teams from Method, Synergy, Awakened, and Reborn were represented here. Now, Reborn is Sedu's team, Awakened is Smexon's team, and Synergy is Randoms that I don't know enough to make a solid statement on their gameplay. I don't know them enough or their play style to kind of have an opinion formed about anything relating to them. But let me tell you what I seen this weekend from Method Reborn, which is Sea-Doo's team. I seen the players that I fell in love with 2 years ago. I seen godlike performances. They started in the lower bracket, okay? I seen the reason I fell in love with them. If you guys did not watch them this weekend, please go to GCD TV and go replay the VODs. I'm sure the guys have all shared the VODs. Rem, you can't even deny, if you watched any of these games, this is what I had been waiting for. Their CCs were on point. Their rotation was on point. Their comps were...
That's what I wanted to know. Where I was going to ask.
They did sweeps of where they did 3-0 for entire matches. Guys, I legit, because I did watch them. I didn't tweet a lot while I was watching them because I was doing multiple things while watching them, so I couldn't multitask that much. Normally I tweet like the whole tournament, what's going on. Guys, I seen the fire that I need to see for them to be able to take BlizzCon. Now, I don't know if it's just with... Because they beat Temple Storm, okay? 3. They beat Temple Storm.
3-0?
3-1.
3-1.
They have the ability to be able to do it. I don't know if just the cups, maybe the cups are they're trying new strategies. I don't really know what's going on. It's kind of
Well, were they running that similar team with the 2 casters and the? I know they switched.
It depends. Sometimes they have the mage, the druid, and the warrior. Sometimes they bring in Bean on his prot. His paladin, and then they have the mage who's Sam I Am. He's the new guy. They have him go on his enhancement shaman. It just depends on kind of what they're dealing with encountering. Now, to me, you would think that their gameplay would be better for the Blizzard sanctioned stuff than it is the other stuff. You would think that they would use the other stuff like this tournament for GCD TV to practice, things that they need to practice. Maybe they're using real life application for their comps, counter comps, and stuff like that. There's a lot that goes into it. So keep in mind, guys, when I'm talking about this during my segment and I'm giving my opinion, I'm not a pro. I don't have to be a pro to know shitty gameplay. I don't have to be a pro to know good gameplay. I know enough about what I watch and what I understand to know what's good and bad when it comes to players and player types. I know a lot of you are also not Method fans, and that's okay. Typically, when you're a giant like Method, there's a lot of haters out there. There's a lot of people who will instantly dislike you because you are Method, because you are a brand. I get that, and that's okay, guys. Much respect. I will forever bleed Method. Like, I don't know a point in my life when I will not be a Method fan. But this weekend, this play showed me the reason why, even when they're playing at their shittiest, that I'm still Team Method. These guys are literally gods. I don't care what anybody says. Yes, Tempo does good. Now I'm going to give Rem his props. He's Team Tempo, and that's cool. I love all of them, so, I'm not a fan of Jamili personally. I love his gameplay, but I'm not a fan of him as a person because he's kind of like a dick. But when you play at that level, you can be, I guess, and people love you anyway. They don't really have to be your friend to love your PvP. Those things are not hand in hand. So
Method won the tournament?
They did, and they did so good. They just owned this both days of the tournament. They just did so good. And I know my opinion doesn't matter to them because they don't give 2 fucks what Bell says, but guys,
I'm confused.
It was good.
Which method is CD on? Because I can't tell which method is Method.
Okay, so Reborn, I'm going to tell you how I remember, okay? Reborn, I take it as Method rebuilding and rebirthing themselves to be able to take BlizzCon because this might, in fact, be Sea-Doo's last one. Last year was supposed to be his last one, but they came so close that I think he gave it another year. Sea-Doo wants to retire, but he wants to retire with a trophy. Makes sense. So I remember that as Sea-Doo and the team are rebirthing themselves for championships. Awakened, Smexon left the original Method team and has his own where he's kind of the boss, and I figured maybe he's been awakened to his ambition. That's how I remember it. Synergy, the only reason I remember them is because those are guys I have no idea who the fuck they are. I have no clue what they're about. Their gameplay is pretty okay. They're not on the level that we're used to of Method, but they're new, and that's something that they've got to kind of build into, so I'm okay with that. And then for EU, you've got the Method Triforce, which I love all those guys, so they could probably lose 20 games in a row and I would still be, Team Triforce because they're all the previous Splice winners. Anyway, so, guys, It was amazing. I recommend that you go watch it, even if you are not a huge Method fan. Just go see what these guys are doing because it was a really great tournament. It was good. Now for my PvP this week, I did a lot of battlegrounds. A lot. I didn't do any with Rem, and he was super salty.
Why
But
not?
the night he was doing them, I didn't want to PvP. I wanted to do some other things in game.
I
Then
was
when I was ready to PvP, I did it for like 6 hours straight.
I knew something was up when we started the show. You the table. Don't you guys feel better now?
Well, he was mad, and I mean, I'm sorry. It is what it is. I just didn't.
But no, because Saturday I did PvP for like 3 to 4 hours, and she's like, "No, I'm not in the mood for PvP."
What was she like?
I have to be
She's
in
like,
that
"Hey,
mood.
you good?"
Guys, I want you to rewind and start watching the episode and look at the secret tension between these guys, and now we know why.
If anybody's ever PvP'd with Rem, they will know that I have to be in a certain mindset to be able to PvP with him because he's like me except worse. So there's never been a good game for him ever. There's never a time when he was like, "That was a great game." Like he's at least I have a little bit of glasses half full, but he's like.
No, even when I win the BG, I critique myself too much.
I don't mind. It
That's so
doesn't bother
funny.
me. I just
Yeah.
PvP. I need to be in the mood, especially when Alliance is losing. Now I got lucky at that time. We were winning all day. All
Nice.
day long. Strats were perfect. People were doing what they were needed to do. We were losing, and then we pulled it out and won. I mean, it was really, really good gameplay. I'm happy to report that I killed some demon hunters. I don't
Nice.
know if it's because I took a small break from PvP and then came back
Refreshed.
refreshed with the mindset of, it's okay if I don't kill everything. Like, I'm going to be fine. I was killing shit, guys. Like, I was like third in damage overall from Horde and Alliance. Of course, I'm never going to beat Affliction Warlocks. It is what it is. But I felt really, really happy. Shit was dying. I had killing bulls all over the place, and these were not ones I was stealing, although I did steal some. I killed a lot of demon hunters. My focus actually in these was specifically to target demon hunters to see if I could either outlive their damage until a partner came to help me, or if I could actually find a really good takedown method for them. I don't really know if I found a good takedown method outside of just
Killing them. Yeah.
well, and I keep them feared as much as humanly possible, and chaos bolting and stunning and stuff like that. But I had a freaking blast, except I went away and I could kill mages. This was like 2 weeks that I haven't PvP'd. It was only 2 weeks. I came back. Frost mages. Holy shit. Like, seriously. Holy fucking damage, Batman. I was getting wrecked after wrecked after wrecked by mages. Now, one-on-one with a mage, if I can outlive his damage, I can kill a mage because a mage doesn't have a lot of heals. So, if I can outlive the damage that's happening to me, I can completely kill them. But you little sly little fucking mages who hide in the fucking bushes while the team fight's happening and you guys are doing your little thing, slinking around all scary like, hiding behind rocks and shit, which is what you should be doing. That's smart PvP. I'm not talking crap to you. They hurt. What is it? The temporal crystals? Whatever. I see the word temporal flash across my screen and I know I'm dead.
It absorbs it, and then the amount of damage that they absorb, they get an increase on damage.
Yeah, I just know that when I see that means Belle's dead. That means I have to pop my shield, pop my unending resolve, and I need to haul ass and run away or fear them because I'm gonna die. But mages, man, frost mages specifically have a lot of quick, bursty damage. Big time, bursty. Do you concur?
Yeah.
Rem, you PvP'd, so I'm sure you went toe-to-toe with some mages.
I mean, I guess I didn't go against any mages that knew what they were doing because I was killing them left and right.
Well, I mean, I wasn't saying I wasn't killing them. I was just saying, like, if I can outlive their damage, I'll kill them because they don't have a lot of self-heals. However...
Well, that's any class. Outlive their damage and you kill them.
But mages don't have, like, any... They might have one self-heal, but they can't heal like other classes can, as far as frost mages go, so...
I think in a battleground, too, sometimes it's like... It depends on the demon hunter that you're fighting, too, right? Like...
Well, also, they do have a heal. Hulinka said they have a heal. It's like Blink.
Well, Ice Block doesn't heal them anymore, where Ice Block used to heal a little bit over time.
I just don't shade.
Because Hulinka lies. I do, and I know the difference between a good mage and a bad mage.
Yeah.
If I know if I still have a full health bar and I'm fighting a mage, there's a problem. But if I'm having to drain life, I'm having to bubble, I'm having to use my hellstones, I'm having to kite and mitigate my own damage because I know that I'm not going to be able to make it if I don't stop this damage. That's how I know if it's a good player. If I'm having to work really, really hard to kill them or keep myself alive, you're going against somebody good. There was a lot of really bad hunters, guys. Guys, if you're a hunter and you're bad at PvP, and I seen you this week, I'm sorry I probably killed you because I would look for those hunters because they're baddies and I would just pew, 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 pew.
I think they fixed BM a little bit.
I want to tell you what I seen this weekend regarding hunters. They go in twos,
What?
right? Two of these guys, they come in and it's like the hunters like to roll together.
I had that too. Yeah.
Do. We're hunters. We're gonna do. Cool.
We're gonna do too.
That's literally like how I felt. These stupid hunters. They
Right.
were doing Warsong Gulch. I don't know, but these stupid hunters, like everywhere I were, they were like the didnt brothers, and I was like, seriously, you guys are fucking lame. So me
That's
and this
so
druid,
funny.
we were just wrecking shit, but. So I was doing the doo-doo voice like the whole
Right.
time I would fight them. I was like making these stupid little voices. My husband's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm fighting hunters."
What do you think? That's the sound from killing these dumb
That's
hunters.
what they sound like when they die. But I thought it was funny because I didn't know, like, it seemed like every battleground there was two hunters, and those two hunters were just besties. Like, they were just like, we're going to camp kill them all, and we're just going to make it happen.
Oh,
But
I had that too. I did Twin Peaks, and then right after that, I had a Katmagoo, and it was the same BM and Marksman Hunter.
I want to talk to you guys on the flag maps, guys, when you're supposed to kill the flag carrier.
What's the FC again?
I need you to kill the fucking flag carrier. Okay?
No.
All of these maps, everybody guards our flag carrier. That's great.
Okay, that's-
Except if nobody kills the other flag carrier, guess what? It's a standstill. You guys just stand around with your fingers
That's
in your ass.
why Warsong.
So I
was
typed
that
in
called?
chat, I'm heading that way to kill the EFC. We've got flag, I'm heading to kill the EFC. I just need one other person to come with me. That's it.
Yeah, and no one moved.
I'm like, hey, I'm going to kill the EFC. I need
That's
somebody.
when it's frustrating.
I look in the middle of the field and there's three fucking DTDs just doing circles and laps in the center of the field.
That's
what are
me,
you
bro.
doing? They're not fighting anybody because nobody's there. They're just literally derping in the middle of the field. So I'm like, I try to not be angry in chat. But I'm like, hi, maybe you want to stop fucking ballerina dancing in the center and maybe you want to come help me. Nobody comes to help me. So I'm like, fine. Okay. So just as I had there, finally a rogue comes and helps me. And if that rogue would have been just a second sooner, I would have still been alive. I had the DK. He was literally just like 13% away from being dead for the flag carrier. I had already killed the first FC, but another guy picked it up.
Right.
So if the rogue that was coming to help me would have been just a little bit sooner to where him and I could both kill him. I died when he was at 13%, and I'm assuming the rogue probably didn't make it very far because there were several people in that room. I tell you what, I don't really ever talk in instance chat very often. I raged like nobody's business. I was talking so much trash. You want to know why? Because you have the ballerina squad that was in the center just doing fucking toe kicks. I don't know what they were doing. You had the rest of our team guarding our flag carrier, which is great, except he doesn't need the whole team. Their
Well,
whole
you're screwed
team,
if no one goes with you,
well,
right?
their whole team was guarding their flag carrier. They didn't need anybody because their team was equally as derpy and they were all guarding their guy. There was maybe one or two stragglers trying to like go up our tunnel and we were just killing them, right? Like it was basically nothing. But guys, if you are in these maps and you don't know what you're doing, ask somebody. Ask somebody. Ask in chat, hey, what do we do here? What's the strategy here? If you know the strategy, no matter what other people are doing, follow the strategy yourself. You don't necessarily have to rely on the whole team to do it. We went in there with three of us in a three-man pre-made. We went in there and ran the entire battleground because just 3 of the 10 or 15 people knew what they were doing. It doesn't take very many, it doesn't take a whole lot. Just needs one person to know what they're doing. But I tell you what, guys, if that would have been remedies in there, Rem would have probably lost his shit on people.
You would have just been yelling.
Well, not necessarily. We would have had the
But I
Black
kept
Bear.
I kept looking at my mini map and I kept trying to figure out if they were coming towards my direction, but I literally just see them like doing random circles in the center of the map. How
Well,
was you guys?
I know, Ballerina Group can, but can you do the can?
I can't do the can actually.
Mm-mm.
I don't even know what's the can.
When they do the line and they do the leg kicks and ballerina stuff.
I don't know what any of that means. I'm a little freaked out that you do, to be perfectly honest. But we're just gonna
Yeah, I
keep
don't
going.
know.
So that was my adventures in PvP this week. It was a good week. I enjoyed getting in there and killing things. And sometimes it is nice for me to just go solo for no other reason other than it's a whole different game experience when you're by yourself than when you're with friends.
It really is.
It's not necessarily for the better, but sometimes it does make you a better player because it does reinforce strategy that you already know. And sometimes it's the cues are quicker when it's just you. Sometimes, like, there's a lot of advantages to just being yourself, going in and queuing. Sometimes I won't ask in guild chat if anybody wants to go because I want a fast queue. The more people you have in queue, the worse it gets. So
It's important to be yourself.
and be aggressive.
Be aggressive.
But if you're new to PvP and you don't know the strategies, please don't be the derpy guy that screws up the whole strategy. Ask, and if people don't want to help you, go look on the internet, guys. If nobody wants to help you, or if you need help with a map strategy, message me. I'll give you. I know all the strategies because that's literally all the strategies. We did have a really nice Eye of the Storm win, which typically in a non-friend pre-made, meaning if I don't have at least 2 or 3 other people with me, when I queue into Eye of the Storm, it sometimes is a bad time because people don't understand the concept of, as Alliance, you protect MT, you protect DR, and you hold middle, you don't let them get the fucking flag. I mean, these are things that are just normal things as Alliance that you should just know. Or if you're Horde, FR, what is it, Blood Elf?
Yeah.
And middle, don't let Alliance do it. Like, these are simple, finite strategies that it's the way that you play. The amount of people who stand in the middle long after one of our players has gotten the flag and is already headed to DR or wherever they're going, then they make a call out for MT, and then you see half the fucking Alliance team standing derpily in the center. There's no flag because we already have the flag, and we lose MT, and we're like, oh, well, glad you guys are sitting there propping up your tea table and having a fucking feast in the center where there's nothing.
When we get like 3 cap and they're still sitting in mid.
No, I don't understand that behavior. We 3-capped and ran the flag the whole time, which was really nice. But the amount of people that don't seem to care about the strategy, I think.
I think it's a combo of legit people don't know, but you're right. A lot of people don't care. I've queued with friends. Some friends are even like that in Warsong, where they're just going to go fight in the middle and worry about the damage and killing blows.
I feel
don't
like
normally PvP.
some of it might be bots, but as destruction, I belong in the middle when we're trying to keep the flag on our side. When we're trying to get the flag, my job is to kill everybody that's trying to get the flag on the opposing team because my chaos bolts, it's what they do. So typically I don't defend. I stay in middle while the flag is in play. The second the flag is picked up by either side, I go and help whatever side needs help. Sometimes I'll put pressure on BET or FR. Obviously I'm Alliance. I'll put pressure on one of those so that we could get middle. Or have less people trying to go for the flag if you're putting pressure on one of their bases. It's less of their opposing team in the middle to get the flag. So I try to avoid getting the flag myself. I like to let the druids do it. If a druid doesn't know what he's doing and he's standing there with me and I just see the flags not getting touched, I will try to grab it and then just haul ass. But I try to let the faster classes take it.
Yeah, you're not really a flag.
Another thing you have to think about too, when you have some derpy people, they're going for achievements. Like for instance, in Eye of the Storm, you have to cap the flag 3 times in the match.
Yeah.
Stuff
Which
like that.
I don't mind. I don't mind people doing achievements. What I mind is it seems like there's a large lack of effort from some people, and I don't know. Literally, like more than half of the battleground, whenever you queue in, it's people that either don't care, they're just in there for whatever their reasons are, or they're bots. It could be their bots. I don't know.
We got to remember too, it's a random battleground too, so you can get all walks of life in there.
But people will call the shot caller, the person that's used to strat. He walks in there and says, okay, this is, do this, and it's a win. Temple of Kapogu. Guys, Never have I ever been in a worse. That and Silver Shard Mines are the two worst ever when it comes to random queues. Because people don't understand the concept of which carts to cap first, because which order caps first. What you want to hold, what you don't want to hold, how many people you need in an actual cart in order to be able to take it from the opposing team. Like, people don't understand some of those basic fundamentals. And
Listen, this is the
I
basic
get it.
fundamental, okay? If you're in Kamogu, go get the damn orb, because Jimmy Banks will go get it. But why do you want me to hold it? I'll heal you, okay? I'll go get it, but just please be on your A game.
So there's two sides to that coin. When I'm on Bell, I orb carrying all day. I'll go grab that. Orb carrying and killing from the outside is my job. My job is to nuke all those fuckers in the center that are carrying the orbs and those that are putting pressure on our orb carriers with my Chaos Bolt. That's my job. Then there's
Or
Wreck
hiding
and Bell.
outside in the arena in the bushes.
Or there's Wreck and Bell, my healer. Now, this pisses people off, and I know this is bad, guys. You guys are going to be like, wow, Bell, you really do this? Sometimes I like to troll a little bit. And I know that I'm trying to advise people to not do that, right? I'm trying to get good players.
Oh, yeah, doesn't that go against what you're saying?
Sometimes when I just get sick of dealing with just a ton of shit battlegrounds, I just say, fine. My favorite thing to do is to get an orb, and then I play two Trailer Park Girls Go Around the Outside, and I go on the outside, and I go hide behind a tree where they can't really see my orb. I hide the whole game there. I had a guy rage at me and be like, why is the healer hiding with an orb? Because you're not my dad. That's why I'm hiding with an orb. So that is my favorite thing to do on Wreck and Bell, actually. I'll toss a heal every now and then when they're close to me. But I do. And people get mad. You're supposed to be in the center. It's only 1 point per tick. Okay?
But you should be healing your team. I thought you meant when you're on your Warlock. If you're on
I do it when I'm on my healer.
Yeah, you should be healing. I recommend that you run around the edges and heal a little bit on this.
I do. I don't always just stay there.
No, I know.
There are some matches where I'm just like, now, let me preface this by saying it's not at the very beginning. It's whether or not we're winning or losing. If we're losing by 800, 900, and it's almost over, I'm not going to even bother, just going to continue to get slaughtered. I'm going to go get us a couple points on the little orb thing so it makes us look a little bit better. I don't do that in a winning game.
I thought you were talking about your Warlock at first, because the one Katmogu, you had the orb on the outside, but you really
do that on the Warlock for
right,
for
you
BGs,
just said doo-doo.
For rated.
You said doo-doo. But it's
I do that for rated BGs.
It's okay because like if you don't have heals on you as a DPS, you don't have as much survivability. I'm not saying you don't have survivability, but when you're on Wrecking Bell, obviously you can heal yourself. It's easy.
It starts to kick in, and the larger you get, the easier you are to kill. Now I do that in rateds, and I do. I on occasion have had to do that in rateds because our orb carriers can't stay up. And I just want to add just a little bit of points. Sometimes we're not that far from winning, or maybe it's pretty even. I will grab it, and I'll sing into the two Trailer Park Girls Go Around the Outside, and I'll just run a circle. I'll just do a full circle with my orb. And I understand you need to be in the center. Sometimes we don't control the center, and that's not where you need to be. And you only lose 1 point per tick. So you're not losing like several. You're only losing 1 point. It's not that big of a deal if you're not in the center.
Well, sometimes that's better than not getting points anyway, because if they're like, jump in the middle and you get blown up, that can happen. But what song do you sing? What are you saying? What's the song?
Two Trailer Park Girls Go Around the Outside.
Around the outside. Around the outside.
And I wanted you to sing it.
I wasn't going to sing it, but I do sing that.
Thanks, Ram.
However, the offset to that strategy is if you're running around the outside with an orb, although you're getting points for your team, as me on my Warlock, when I've done it strategically in RBGs, it's a bad strategy because that means my Chaos Bolt is not putting to work. My Chaos Bolt isn't killing their orb carriers. My Chaos Bolt isn't defending against our orb carriers. My Chaos Bolt's not doing its damage because I'm running around. And it's not all the time that strategy is implemented, but it has been done sometimes when we've needed those extra points. I will do it. But I don't like doing it in an RBG unless I have to.
Well, right, because that map, your team will win when you fight in groups. That's not
your team will win if you're killing shit on the outside that's in the center, especially if they're trying to take center back. If you're holding center and they're trying to take it, you could be the make or break. Mages, warlocks, pew pew from the outside, oftentimes they go unnoticed because they're busy fighting with the guys in the center. Oftentimes they won't even notice that I'm on the outside chaos bolting.
That's one of the best things you said. so we're calling out all DPS. If there's someone on the other team that has an orb and they're giant and you don't go try to solo them as a DPS, because I know I said it's a group fight.
It's a two-shot fight when they're that big. You'll
If you're
literally
a
two-shot them.
DPS, your job is to attack those damn orbs so someone else can go.
So if you're running around the outside, you can't necessarily do that unless you happen to cut across, which I do sometimes. I'll cut across pew pew to go to the other side. It's not a good strategy, guys. That's
Damn it, Belle! Every time I'm gonna have the orb now, I'm gonna say round the outside, round the outside. Every time I know that's gonna happen.
These are just a few things that are fun for me. But my segment was longer than it was intended.
That's good.
I did a lot of PvP and it was really nice. I am going to. We switched up the stream schedule slightly, and
Yeah, what happened yesterday?
we've got. Oh, it wasn't. This was my weekend. It was not happening this weekend. But I will be streaming on Sundays. Rem's going to stream on Saturdays. Jimma, whenever Jimma can, will stream on Fridays. And then we have Murky streaming on Tuesdays. Sundays is better. Fridays and Saturdays, it's really difficult because if I'm trying to do stuff with the family or even in game or guild stuff, I just can't. Sundays, it makes more sense for me. So, I can do
Around the outside.
Around the outside.
But, guys, PvP was amazing.
Good. I don't think people minded if your segment was longer. The people have been asking for longer shows anyway, right? So
And I've been slacking on my PvP stuff.
yeah. Well, and it's always good to do things in game that you love. So even though you said you didn't have as much time, you got back to what you really enjoy, and good segment, right?
I wanted to give you guys a quick tip. If you do World Quest as a healer, I know.
Don't.
Well, you can because I do it. However, the Demon Steel stirrups, have a guildie make them for you. Keep them on you. Those Demon Steel stirrups, they give you a 2-hour buff of you can interact while mounted. For certain quests where you just have to collect things or click on things, it's really quick and it's like quick and dirty as a healer. You go in, you collect and do your things, and then boom, you're done. Or if there's a portion of that quest, like if you're doing the corrupted stuff in Valshar where you have to click on the flowers to kill them or whatever, you can do a good bulk of that while you're mounted. So I recommend having a guildie make them for you and using that as a means to stay mounted as much as possible while you're on your healer. The only reason I brought that up is because I've been doing world quests on the monk, and I'm not going to swap specs just to do world quests.
You need to. That's what my advice. No. Excuse me. That's not how I'm going to get you to do it. It's not like us asking you to do affliction, and it's okay. I know you're worried about your artifact.
No, it's not that. I just don't want to swap, and I don't have to. I use Chen. He's my tank, so I use Chen every time I'm out, and I tap him with Crackling Jade Lightning. I heal Chen while Chen does my fighting, and I occasionally throw some jabs in there. But I don't die. I have not died doing a world quest yet. And it doesn't take me,
you're a healer,
But it doesn't take me long at all.
If it's not taking you long, that's fine. But that Fist of Fury, though, bro.
But part of the reason it doesn't take me that long is because I use the Demon Steel stirrups on my mount. So I go in and do a lot of things while I'm mounted. That way, the other stuff I could just, if I have to fight, then I dismount. But anything that you can click on, the magic of flight. You can click on that little orb. You could fly right to it. You don't have to do that. All that ball crap, flying balls, bubble.
Like the wind.
But I want that Demon Steel, if you have a guildie that does it for you, you could buy them, but they're like 600. They're like 600 to 1,500 gold per.
That's not bad.
Per one. But I just have a guildie make them for me. But this really goes for any of your world questing. It is to your benefit to put that on when you're doing your world questing and then just go collect stuff. Like the squirrel one in Valshara, where you got to pick up the nuts and you got to click on the squirrels. You could do that all while mounted. And
that's cool. Good advice.
So
I thought you're supposed to crush the squirrels and kick the nuts.
Probably all those things, depending on what fetish site you're on. But we don't know anything about that. At least I don't. I don't know what you two know about. But.
Be faster. Just do the
harder, better.
Yes.
Well, that's even good for on non healers. It's good. Those stirrups are great for anything. Giggity. They are great for anything if you don't want to dismount. I don't know if a lot of people utilize them for the world quest, because the point of the world quest is not to spend your whole day doing them. That's not the point of the world quest. The point is to get in and get out. Quick and dirty, guys. Prom night all over again. But those stirrups. I started using them and fell in love with them, so I have a guildie who makes them for me. But that was just a little bell tip to make things interesting. Also, I did tell you guys a few weeks ago that the breaching the tomb was required for Tomb of Sargeras. I don't think it is, guys. I know that it was at one point. It's probably meta that they removed because people bitched about it. Or maybe they were testing doing that. Breaching the tomb, you do need it for an achievement. It might be gated behind other content, but for Tomb of Sargeras, it's not, so you don't have to worry about that. I'm pretty sure it's attached to something, though. Maybe you needed to continue moving forward on...
It'll probably be a precursor for a prerequisite for future questing for the.
Yeah, I'm sure it's gated behind some type of content to force you to finish, but.
I mean, it's easy peasy. You just do a little quest each week, and then if you do it later, you catch up really quick to whatever it's on at the moment.
Right. Speaking of week, Jimma, what did you do this week in the wonderful world of Warcraft?
Lots. I kept knocking out any type of quest that was like required or big on my map, and after a while it was just like mythic dungeon after mythic dungeon, which is good because I'm a healer and people need healers. The one thing that really did suck though, I think it's the Halls of Valor is the longer one, the dungeon. Get right to the end, there's like 3 quests that I had knocked out, one specific for the quest to beat the last boss. We wiped a few times actually. And everyone left, so there I am at the end boss, and a guildie came right away. I was like, yeah, guildie, and I left the raid and it started all over. I was like, damn it. So shout out to the guildie that came and helped me, but I also did some other guild stuff actually in the last couple weeks. I did some guild stuff. I did like a fun run, cleared Nighthold. That was cool. What else did I do? I feel like I did so much more. I sold some pets. I said I hadn't done that in a while. I collected all the gold. And yeah, just typical, making sure I got order resources to do all my missions. And I did a little hunter stuff, but not much. I really did just focus on the monk. And now I'm like torn. I know you shouldn't split your DPS, your artifact power between 2 specs. But now as I'm seeing the numbers show up and actually mid-raid in Nighthold, I switched to DPS. I was lucky enough to have the ability to do that. And my numbers weren't that bad. So when your numbers aren't that bad and you haven't put that much work into it, like it's like addicting as DPS. Obviously you want your meter to be as high as possible. So I'm torn in between, my main spec, which is healing, and pumping into my DPS spec. So yeah, just a lot of that stuff. And
Wait, so you're going Tauren?
I'm going Tauren, and I'm not playing my Resto Druid.
You said you're Tauren.
Oh man, I feel like there's a good joke in there somewhere. I feel like
there isn't a good joke. Speaking of jokes, Rem, what'd you do this week in World of Warcraft?
Oh shit! That was amazing.
Regular week world quests, and actually did a lot of PvP. I didn't do any rated. But announcing it now, me and Jim doing rated arenas.
Right? I don't think we're gonna get to 100 wins before the season's over, though. That's tough.
Easy peasy, lemon squeezy.
Right?
Now with Rem's raging, ain't.
It's just with his rage, 100 wins is like, it depends on your win ratio, right? That's a lot of games.
Let's put it that way. You don't have to be good to get 100 wins in 3.
You don't, but then they'll just
pray that a lot of them AFK'd.
It's pretty much just like spray and pray. Get as many as you can. But no, PvP, and PvP. I tried a little bit on the Elemental Shaman. I didn't do like high-end PvP with the Elemental Shaman, but it used to be really, really fun. I suck at it at the moment.
Enhance is doing pretty well right now.
Yeah, no, I'm still sticking with the Shadow Priest for PvP at least.
Nice.
And the Paladin is fun for miscellaneous stuff. And yeah. I think Belle wants the episode to be over, so I feel like we should delay her a little bit. No, she's cool. Okay. Belle, did you? Let's discuss something.
No, yeah. Belle, how was your week?
My week in WoW was pretty great. I've been working equally on Belle and Reckon Belle the monk, doing monk things. I have been stalking the Bareback Brawl because that's going to be
Is that what it's called?
Well, that's going to be my source of the Hungry Games. 'Cause I'm bringing the Hungry Games back, so I've been stalking the last couple months, and it's actually every 10 days.
I feel like there's a pickup line in there somewhere with the
get weird.
bareback brawl.
Every 10 days, the
Something about
Bareback Brawl
stirrups.
is up on the server. So I've been doing preparations for that. I've been doing a lot of guild stuff. I brought on some new officers. I've just been in guild, like just in guild chat, just hanging out. Yeah, congrats to the new officers. They'll be trained on Wednesday, and
Now you're stuck.
Promoted. They already seen me flip out in the officer group over somebody not being added properly, and told about Greenwall, and told about they didn't get their welcome package. They weren't told about the guild Facebook group. I was like, wow, you guys seen my first meltdown. Welcome. I'm just very particular, and we have a protocol, and I like protocol to be followed. And when it's not followed, I'm not a happy camper. But I've been really just enjoying talking in guild chat and just feeling good about being in game. I play other little tiny games when I need, just to swap out from content to avoid being burned out, which I've never really had a burnout problem, to be perfectly honest. But it's been nice. I'm establishing new, healthy, ways of gaming and balancing.
Belle's a really good guild master. She reminds me of Emperor Nero. Very, very, very well met.
For us, pretend you're talking to Jimma. What emperor?
It's an old Roman emperor. His name is Nero. He was, long story short, a psychotic and murdered.
I've been watching a lot of Vikings while PvPing, and I don't know if that's a good idea or a bad idea, but it's been pretty crazy because those guys get crazy and they make me want to say things like usurp. But, yeah, it's been good, guys.
Good. I'm glad you had a good week and WoW.
Yeah, game time's been pretty good. I've been gaming more and more now that I've because I went not gaming at all to gaming more and more.
Yeah.
Just kind of rebalance things. It's summer in the Chavez. Well, now everybody knows my last name. Not like it was a big secret because I think a lot of you already knew that anyway. Well, in the Bell household is what we're going to call it. Guys, I can't believe that's like the third time I've done that. I'm not even bleeping it out either, guys. I'm leaving it in this time because I am not hiding from the world anymore.
You don't have to, Sam.
I know.
I thought your last name was Shaves. I'm confused.
According to UPS, it is Shaves. It's Feep and Shaves. Fucking
Sounds like
man.
It's a funny name.
The backstory to that is we shipped something to one of you guys. Might have even been to Hazu. We shipped something and he brings me back the shipping label. And it was like Feefin Shaves. And I'm like, that's not even close to his name. Do you even have to have a high school diploma to work at fucking the post service? Anyway.
You don't have to be on the show, that's for sure.
No, you really definitely and truly do not need to have any kind of education to be here. Where the hell was I going with that? Oh, there's summer, so I have the little tinies here, and I'm going to need to be hiding in game quite frequently, so my hours of play will probably go up because I can put the headphones on and throw up some Netflix and just let them destroy the house downstairs while I'm up here.
The dog's got a head start on that.
Don't even get me started. It's not a good topic of conversation. Guys, we did reach our goal.
Nice.
For the Kickstarter. A couple important things to remember. Yes, we reached our goal, but it hasn't closed yet. We have 13 more days. If people back out or lower their pledge, we're screwed. So mind your pledge, guys. If you guys donated, please don't back out. If you have to, that's okay. I don't mind, but just try not to. And going over is the thing. Anything we go over, it just helps to make the party better. I'm not going to promote it anymore beyond that because we're not selfish. I'm happy with just being able to make, our original goal. I'm happy with that. But anything above and beyond that people feel like they want to throw, if a couple of you want to throw 10 or 20 bucks, whatever.
Well, it would really help for anyone who's wondered or asked if we had a patron, and I don't know if we set one up or we don't have one.
We've always had one. We have people that do it.
Good, you did say that. But yeah, just a couple like $10 here and there would help make sure that we overfund.
Yeah, overfunding is always the thing, just to give us wiggle room in case. Typically, the last couple days before the Kickstarter ends is when people kind of decide, oh, well, maybe I gave too much and I don't want to give that much and I want to lower it. And we want to be on the safe side. Last year we funded, and I think we funded like 132% maybe. So we went over, which last year I was still short because I was still short because my goal, I didn't understand what it was like to put on a party, guys. I had no idea. So this year, I made better decisions.
A little bit more seasoned, yeah.
Yeah, a little bit more seasoned. I made it better. Well, the Kickstarter itself takes like $1,200 of your money. $1,200 of what we have goes right back to Kickstarter for the fees. So it might seem like we're getting a ton of money, but we're really not. And I had to account for the Kickstarter fees and all of that stuff in the final.
Kind of off topic, but kind of on topic because it calls them on Kickstarter. Think about, because you have those $1 million Kickstarters. Kickstarter has to have a boatload of money.
Oh, they make bank, dude. Like, and they charge you a processing fee. So they take a percentage of your funds, plus they charge a fee per transaction to run the card. If they run a card that declines, they'll keep running for like 3 days. They'll try it again, and you get charged that fee every single time they run it. Yeah, it's pretty crappy. But they make a money, and that's okay. So the goal, although is 8,000, I'll probably end up with maybe 7 out of that if I'm lucky, and then So anything over is good. We don't have to, so don't feel the need to jump on. And if you want to, that we're greatly appreciated. Get some swag. He just started Illidan. And I'm hoping that he'll be done with Illidan in a week, because the week before the Kickstarter ends, I want to show both sides of the good versus evil that we have. I've been working with font and stuff right now, trying to set that scene right now with Kill Jaden and Gul'dan. But if nothing else, back and get a poster or a T-shirt or something, because it's going to be really good rewards.
Or sticker.
Well, I think just like everyone knowing that they've donated enough for us all to wear our birthday suits to the party brings great joy to all.
For sure, it's going to be good, and I'm really thankful. Thank you to everybody who's helped and who's shared and who's backed. 14 days left to go.
Thank you.
If you feel like you want to give. If you don't, you don't. It's okay. I'm not stingy or selfish, so I'm happy that we just made it. I haven't posted it since we made our goal, because
you're probably just
I feel good that we made it, and I'm happy with that. Anything over is good, but I'm not.
We know it stresses you out when it's just like the wondering.
Yeah, now I know that we've pretty much gotten in the bag, minus any huge changes, so we should be relatively good. Thank you, guys. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, you see Secret Sauce in game, it's because he finally got his internet back. We don't really know if he did or he didn't. I'm kind of feeling like he didn't, but
that's weird. He's online right now. Just kidding. Kidding.
Do you see your face changed?
We should see him next week, but I think we've proven that we can handle things without him, so that's a-okay. Guys?
Secret who?
Right? We don't even know him. We're going to make him re-audition.
Right? You don't need a high education. We could accept resumes.
Well,
you can get your education for free.
You get your education here. I did.
We'll teach you.
That's the only reason why I know what's going on in game. Yeah.
Guys, we're going to go ahead and get on out of here. Hope you were entertained. Hope you were informed. Hope you were all of the above. If you're listening on iTunes, give us a rating. Even if it's a bad rating, I'll read your review. You want to know why? Because I'm a team player. I started responding to emails this week, guys. I'm sorry it took me so long, but I love you. Hey, if you're watching on YouTube, comment, give the video a like, send me an email, send me a fax, send me a snail mail, show up at my front door with tacos. I don't care what you guys do, but show us that you love us. Guys?
Those tacos has to go 4 ways, so...
Samantha is it.
Oh, yeah.
My Snapchat is Samantha is it.
So Jimma has a Snapchat as well, right?
Jimma Banks.
Is it at Jimma Banks?
Yeah.
Rem, what is your Snapchat?
I don't even know.
Rem is it.
Mine is at Samantha is it. Spoiler alert, Samantha's my real name, in case you guys didn't know.
I don't know why that didn't click in for me to make fun of you last week for using your real name.
Samantha is it. I've used that ever since I was like 12. I don't even know why I
Remedy
say that.
Zen.
Snapchat
Remedy
when you're
Zen
12.
is his Snapchat, so add him. I have a plethora of weird shit that I post on my Snapchat. Sometimes you'll see me with morning hair. Sometimes you'll see my feet in the bathtub. Sometimes you'll see a potty selfie.
Peanut butter.
I did. I Snapchatted my peanut butter. Follow us on Snapchat for a good time, guys.
That being said,
So, guys, let's go ahead and get the hell out of here because I got show to edit and things to do. Guys, thanks for joining us. We love you all.
hey.
Yeah.
No, why do you
No.
do that?
What,
Why?
speed and spirit fingers? Or the yeah?
Why do you do spirit fingers? There's no such thing as spirit fingers.
There's like a lot of spirit fingers.
Is there?
Hey. No, it's pretty. We should cut that out.
I want to get a tiny group for right here. Can you help me find a tiny group? You know what I'm saying? I want him to like hang right here. Like maybe he can be like opposable.
I know what you're saying.
So whenever like one of you guys talk shit, I could be like, little Groot's angry. You
Displeased.
angry little Groot.
You said you, dude.